Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business. I've got a real treat in store for you. I have my very dear friends, Major retired Pat Davis, the president of the AGCRA, the Adjutant General Corps Regimental Association's Iron Mike chapter, here with me at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Pat is, as mentioned, retired very recently from the United States Army and is really passionate about, along with me, in advocating for an organization dedicated to preserving the legacy and traditions of the AG Corps. We're going to talk all about that in a moment. Pat is a seasoned leader with a wealth of experience in human resources, personnel management, and Army traditions. Pat Davis, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, this is a treat. And our listeners know I like to have my worlds collide occasionally, and we're going to do more of that in the future. So I want to start, Pat, by talking about you and your legacy of service. First of all, thank you for your service. Can you tell us a little bit about what brought you into the Army and why the Adjutant General Corps?
All right. Well, thank you. Of course, I start off by saying it's never about the individual, right? Definitely about our journeys and about our interactions with each other. But what brought me to Army service? Well, I do come from a background of a family of military service. My father was Air Force, several Air Force and Army veterans, and Navy as well. Not as many Marines, but I've definitely worked with and experienced, had the pleasure to work with the Marines as well, and Coast Guardsmen. Honestly, I guess I'll start off by saying I and my wife, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, a life lesson, we were teen parents in high school. My senior year, her sophomore year, we had our first child who is serving in the Army now, 25 years later. So I'd have to say, out of honesty, that military service for me was the best option for providing for my family at the time. Of course, I had a steeped background, a rich history of military service within the family, so I was no stranger to it, understood what the requirements were, and had that mindset going in as far as how to serve, how to be obedient, how to have discipline, how to be a member of a team, those fundamentals that you kind of need going in. You know, they say there are three basic things that you need to survive. Military service has been in the right place at the right time, the right uniform, and definitely knew those qualities well from ROTC, from military service in the family. But I did not immediately join the AG Corps. And I don't think I honestly knew much about the AG Corps when I joined. I actually came in as a military intelligence soldier, serving in the communications intelligence field within that branch. And I served on the enlisted side for a total of 10 years before going green to gold within the military, switching from the enlisted ranks to the officer ranks. At that point is when I was exposed to the AG Corps and what they do. Of course, I'd worked with AG Corps personnel side by side within our S1. That section handles all of our administrative matters, our human resources support to the unit when I was an MI soldier. I was very fascinated with what they did as far as providing support to the soldiers and the families, not just administrative, in many different ways. Almost anything you can think of, they kind of touch when it comes to supporting our soldiers and our families. I was impressed by what they do, the sheer volume of work. I was also kind of saddened by the fact that they didn't, get recognition for the impact that they make, because honestly, we are in the people business, and people, are the foundation of what we do as a military. So being people centric, I really believe the AG Corps serves a huge role that it sometimes is overlooked or underappreciated. And that was kind of my impetus to join, to be a part of it, to wear the stripes of being an AG Corps professional with pride, and instill that pride in others. Pay forward lessons that I've learned across my career as an Army leader, but also as an HR professional.
Absolutely.
That's definitely been the momentum. I'm sure you can relate to that across our conversation, Scott. But that's kind of what brought me to where I am today and why I continue to serve in the capacity that I do, even though I'm retired. I greatly appreciate helping others advance, paying forward lessons learned. So, folks don't have to experience those firsthand, but they can reap the benefits
Yeah.
of a lifetime of service.
Well, after the break, we're going to talk specifically about the work of the Iron Mike chapter here in North Carolina. But just before, or for the next minute, can you tell us a little bit about the founding of the AG Corps? I know this is a very, very important year, and this is a very, very important week, isn't it?
It is. This is a very important week for us here at Fort Bragg. So this is our 250th year anniversary, if you didn't know, for the Army and for the AG Corps, which was the second corps established within the Army, with our first general being General Horatio Gates, who worked personally for General George Washington, and one that one of our regimental awards is named for. So definitely a great year to celebrate the AG Corps and the accomplishments of the AG Corps in support of the Army. So we're excited about the lineup of events that we have for AG Week. We here at Fort Bragg, and it can be different from installation to installation. At Fort Bragg, we align it with another major conference. It's called the Army Synchronization and Resourcing Conference, where the FORCECOM G3, who leads operations, brings together different leaders across the branches of the Army to come together to essentially plan out for the year how the Army will get after exercises and get after readiness.
Absolutely.
So we align that on purpose so that we can get our senior leaders here, and participating.
Pat, I got to squeeze in a very quick break. We're going to be right back with Pat Davis from the AGCRA in just a moment. Don't touch that dial. We're back and get down to business. The show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. I'm chatting with my friend Pat Davis. He's a Army major, retired here in North Carolina, and he's currently the president of the Adjutant General Corps Regimental Association, fondly known as AGCRA, here at the Iron Mike chapter in North Carolina. And we've just been chatting about the legacy of the Adjutant General Corps, 250 years. So, Pat, tell us a little bit more about the work of AGCRA's Iron Mike chapter here in North Carolina.
Right. 250 years of history for the AG Corps. The chapter here, the Iron Mike chapter at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, is not as old. We're about 35 years old since this chapter was created. We are comprised of the Army's HR professionals, the Army's recruiters and retention or career counselors, the Army Band, and the Army Chorus. So quite a bit of talent across the Corps here. What we do with the AGCRA here as a nonprofit organization is to bring all of those entities together in support of the community, initiatives in the community, and in support of professional development objectives and mentorship. Those are probably our biggest pillars when we look at how we provide support to the AG Corps here at Fort Bragg.
Well, really grateful for the work that you're doing, and again, I'm super passionate about the work, and I'm privileged. Our locals out in North Carolina know that I'm privileged to serve as the chapter chaplain because we share, as you were saying earlier, Pat, a passion and a mission of taking care of people, and that's one thing that I've seen throughout the AG Corps. That unique focus. Ultimately, we are very much in that people business. So, Pat, actually, that's a perfect jumping off point. Many of our listeners, certainly veterans themselves, and we salute their service, but many folks that really are passionate about service to community. And if you can tell a young Pat Davis or a young Scott Klein out there that might be tuning in, if they were considering service, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, do it. There's no better to know if you're fit for it than to try it out. If you're thinking about it, then more than likely, I'd say God's placed it on your heart and you have a mission or a calling within military service. So do it. Try it out. I think there's nothing but experience to gain, a definite widened worldview that you definitely will not see if you don't join the service or travel in some capacity professionally.
Yeah. And you served 20 plus years. You served 20 years. And so you and I talk about this all the time, whether you serve for, 4 years or 20 years, um, you know, that every moment of that service is precious to our nation and precious in your community. And you will walk away a better person for it, right?
That is right. You will grow. That is guaranteed. You will experience things that you will likely not experience in, a civilian walk of life.
Yeah.
If you do not travel or work with folks from different backgrounds, you'll definitely see quite a bit. 24 years exactly. Well, 24 years and 2 months. I think some people count the days when they retire, but I wasn't. I was still having fun, and I think I still have quite a bit to contribute to those who are still serving.
Yeah, and it's something you and I talk about all the time is you don't need to be wearing the uniform in order to serve, and you're certainly a living example of that. Pat, I want to give the final word over to you so our listeners can find out more about the Iron Mike chapter of the AGCRA and how they can support.
Yes. So the Iron Mike chapter, you can follow us on our social media pages, either on Facebook or on Instagram. If you just do a search for Iron Mike chapter, AGCRA, you will find us. We post all of our events there. We are open for membership essentially to everyone. We have honorary awards for those who are not directly affiliated with the AG Corps, but we encourage everyone to come out. It's definitely a organization about community and about strengthening one another through our bonds and through mentorship.
Well, thank you so much. That's a wrap for us this week on Get Down to Business, the show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. You can always go to my website, syklein.com, to success. Let's get down to business. Can't wait to see you and hear from all of you next week. Take care.